People ask me all the time, why in the world do you keep Tommy around? I mean, he's not as good looking as you, he's not as funny as you, he's not as clever as you, he's just a lot smarter than I am. So last night I was talking to Tommy on the phone. I don't know if we were talking or texting, one of the two, it all blends together. And I told him about, we've had this tranny in and out with your experience and my experience. We've had this transmission in and out 7 times in 2.5 days. And he said, you know, well, maybe we can make an adjustment up on the clutch pedal. All right, well, let's try it. Well, I go to work this morning. I call Tom, probably maybe 7:15, 7:30.
I've been here for about an hour or so.
Okay, so it was noon. And Tom says, I think I have a beat.
Alright guys, now we're reassembling Arthur's truck. And I'll show you all the weirdness going on here. Okay, so this is obviously the cross member here, transmission mount. And because all this is so tight, and remember there's the exhaust that goes right there. So this is how this works. This heat shield bracket bolts right here into the side where the speedometer sensor is. It goes like that, and then there's another clamp right there. That is the clamp for the fuel line, and yeah, and it's a heat shield, so it's kind of a conglomerate. It mounts the fuel line, and it has a heat shield involved to keep the heat off the fuel pump and stuff like that. That's what's going on right here. So anyway, I just want to show you guys that, and I'm going to continue on the process here. So after I get this on here nice and tight, then I can go ahead and hang the exhaust back on here, and she's, well, still have to put the seat back in it and the tranny tunnel. But anyway, probably within an hour or something like that, we'll be able to take it down the street. So hang on. Okay guys, so now the bracket's bolted here and bolted up here. Then it comes along here, and see how close that fuel line is to the frame rail? I mean, this girl is tight. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and tighten this guy up, and then I'm going to tighten the heat shield bolts up, and then it's ready for the exhaust on this side. You got a heat shield on. There's the one exhaust pipe, that's the driver's side. So now we're going to go ahead and do the passenger side, and I'll try to set the camera up so you guys can weedy watch that. So this guy, I'm going to just loosely attach the rear hanger, the rubber hanger, and then we actually have to go forward and in behind or in front of the steering. Yeah, it's a little weird sometimes. Now, so first off, I need to get this one here. Alright, there's that. Alright. Yay. Yeah, it gets so wet. That's so smart. How? I don't know. We'll have to go around the front of the vehicle. That right there is the beginnings of something beautiful. Okay guys, like I said, it's super tight everywhere. So I'll go ahead and tighten up the other front one again, just a little bit more. And yeah, transmission, all that stuff is done. All our bracketry is done. driver exhaust is done. We need to tighten up back there, and then we'll go up top, and we'll put the tranny tunnel back in. We'll take the shifter out, tranny tunnel in, seat in, then shifter in. And then she's ready for a test drive. So hang on, I'll be right back. One more thing I forgot to tell you guys was when we were doing the exhaust on this, obviously it was going to get pretty weird. We knew it was going to get weird. So we cheated. You can see where the mufflers are right now. What we did was we took 2 pieces of straight stock and tacked them together. That way, for one, you know, we could figure out what I want to do like this. We knew that it would be level, and because they were symmetrical, we were able to space things out to where it's right in the middle of the truck, because you have to remember that on a 9-inch, the pinion's off to one side. Usually it's the passenger side. If you look at this, there's the pinion there, and it's actually off. So anyway, so we just welded the mufflers together and then built the exhaust from there. Alright guys, got the shifter out, ready to put the tunnel in here. You know, no problemo. Just need this guy to go back to the right spot. Okay, let's go retrieve another retainer. I'll be right back. Alright. And there it is. Oh, there it is. I didn't lose it, it just moved. Okay. Let's go get a tranny tunnel and pop her in the hole. Okay, let's go ahead and move this, get that. This is there. There's the carpet over here. Alright. Wow, it looks like somebody built it like that. So, let's go ahead and get these guys started here. And again, when I'm doing these, I'm not going to tighten any of them up. I'm going to leave it all kind of loose. Didn't really do what I did it. Didn't really do what I think it did. It's okay. Go ahead and okay. You know, I must say, even though this thing was it was a lot of work to build, it actually came out pretty neat. Pretty neato. A lot of forethought, you know. And like I said before, this thing is a monster. There's been other people do this before. I've never seen them, but I'm sure we're not the only ones doing this. But she's getting together. I don't know if you guys can tell, but this top piece actually comes out too. On this thing, you can't take the core support out. The core support is part of the inner fender wells, and those are all welded to the cab. So it's kind of unibody construction-ish kind of theory. So in order to get the engine out, we had to take this. This has to come off for the engine to come out. Maybe that way you can get the right pitch for it to all come out. Hey guys. So I didn't take any footage of it. We're gonna get some footage of this later on today. We got the seat in there, tranny tunnel, exhaust on it. All the stuff's tightened up. Everything. I took it out, drove it. It's good. It's got low gear. It's got reverse. Obviously, it's got everybody else. But the ratio is really quick, man. Right off the floor, she wants to start going. So, what we're gonna do, we're just gonna take the push rod out off the slave and extend it by about 1/4 inch, and right there it should be primo. getting ready to extend the push rod on the little monster Mazda. Alright guys, here's our extension. Going to weld that there. It'll be awesome. Alright guys, there it is. Same push rod, just a 1/4 inch longer. I'm gonna let it cool down. Ooh, she's lively. Let it cool down just a little bit more, and then we're gonna install it. Yay! So now our push rod on the slave of the old Mazda. It's about a 1/4 inch longer. Anyway, everything's tight. Jack it up, get it back off the stands. We're gonna get it out front for a test drive a little bit later. How's it going?
How are you, sir?
Want to try that concrete? You're clear for a while. All right, you guys. There's the pattern. Now it's in 2nd gear. Pretty cool. We're feeding a little truck with so much motor, it's actually pretty docile. I think a lot of that has to do with the rear end that Pete got for it. If it's a one-legger, she'd be all over the road. And obviously a spool you can't drive on the street, so. Anyway. That's one vicious little Mazda. You darn kids and your hot rods, I'm telling you what.
Well, I didn't want to get on it too hard. If anyone's going to break it, I want it to be Arthur, not me. She's shifting just like she should. So we need to tell you a little story about how this was accomplished. All right, well, let me tell you. You know, there are happy accidents, there are bad accidents, and this accident was not an accident at all. See, people ask me all the time, why in the world do you keep Tommy around? I mean, he's not as good looking as you, he's not as funny as you, he's not as clever as you, he's just a lot smarter than I am. So last night I was talking to Tommy on the phone. I don't know if we were talking or texting, one of the two, it all blends together. And I told him about, we've had this tranny in and out with your experience and my experience. We've had this transmission in and out 7 times in 2.5 days. And he said, you know, well, maybe we can make an adjustment up on the clutch pedal. And I thought, this is not going to help, you know, because we're already adjusting down on the bottom. We're doing everything we're supposed to be doing. All right, well, let's try it. Well, I go to work this morning. My call Tom probably maybe 7:15, 7:30.
I've been here for about an hour or so.
Okay, so it was noon.
Oh.
And Tom says, I think I have a beat. I said, what are you talking about? He says, well, when we originally built it, Tommy had built an adjustable push rod up on the master cylinder and the clutch pedal. He said, I made an adjustment on there, and we have clutch. So basically what it boils down to is the slave cylinder on this thing has a spring inside it that keeps tension against the fork all the time. And the whole time we thought that we were getting full movement on that slave cylinder, and we weren't getting full movement on that slave cylinder. So with Tommy's adjustment up top, it moved that cylinder further out, and now we have gears that don't grind and a car that goes down the street. And as you saw, hopefully you were able to video some of that. It'll do a burnout or two, and it is plenty of problem for Arthur. So happy and so sad. Sad that I didn't think up the cure, but so happy that Tommy did. And that's the only reason that I keep him around, because otherwise you can see how good looking I am compared to not so good looking over there. Yeah. Anyway, it's literally some of those stupid little things that bite you in the rear end. I kept thinking that we had full pressure on it, and so it couldn't have been up on the pedal. But with a little adjustment up top, we did do an extension down on the bottom just to make sure we have all the pedal we need. And Arthur can go out and get some more tickets and take his wife out to dinner now that the weather is starting to get a little nicer. And hey, giddy up, cowboy. That is a happy thing. So that being said, we want to thank you guys for coming and watching. Hopefully one of the last videos we're ever going to do on Arthur's truck. The only other time his is going to be in this video is when we do our burnout competition, because we're going to do Arthur's truck, the old giveaway truck, we're going to do Ben's truck, and we're going to do Brandon's truck, and we're going to have an Olympics of LS and big block stature. So anyway, it'll be back for that, but it's going away. He's coming to pick it up. We're really excited to have him out there tearing up in his truck again, and we're excited to move on to the next one. So we're going to pull another one in. We're going to get some painting done. We're going to start building something, and we're just really, really glad about that.
It's definitely one of those head turners. People are like, what is that? That truck never sounded like that.
Yeah, it grumbles now when it pulls up, and people look and they're like, oh, that thing doesn't look like anything. And when you light the fuse, that baby launches. It's something pretty cool. So anyway, we're glad to be getting the truck back to him. He's glad to be getting his truck. He's going to start scooting around and have a good time. We want to tell you guys thank you for coming out, and as always, thanks for watching. Let's do it again. And as always, thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching.
Rah, 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 rah.